Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 museums in the town of Leadville, Colorado, which, by the way, is the highest elevation city in the United States that is an incorporated city. And of these 7 museums, I'm going to start off with the Healy House Museum and Dexter Cabin. So let's take a look around here. Here are their hours. It's a guided tour. You have to be here at those specific times. I'm going to show you around the outside grounds first. There's a gazebo over here. They have a nice flower and plant garden and a statue here. And there's a plaque down here. Let's see if that says what it is. Here's a shot of the side of the house, which does make it look a lot larger.
Historic Eastside Mining District. This is where I call home. My husband and I have an old miner's cabin from 1876. So it was in 1859 when we first started to find small traces of gold in this area. And by 1860, the gold rush was on here. Colorado's not a state though, Leadville is not a town, and so the miners here established Oro City. Horace Tabor lost everything. We have James Viola Dexter. He was a more diversified investor. He had interests in different mineral rights, mine claims, ranching operations throughout the state. He is one of Colorado's first millionaires. And the rocking chair belonged to Mr. Dexter. The arms in the back are inlaid with mother of pearl. And this coal stove was manufactured in Hamilton, Ohio, and the tiles are Italian. There for running water, but we don't have that here in Leadville until 1885. So
the bathtub. There's the faucets.
So we have transient artisans wandering the mountain towns, and they create pieces of furniture. So before we have the trains, we have wagon trains, and one of those wagons was the truck wagon. And this food safe would have been on the cook's wagon. This held all the dried goods that they would need for their journey. We have cornmeal, flour, coffee. There's even a built-in coffee grinder here.
So now we're moving on from the cabin to the main house.
1878. It was known as the Little Mansion on the Hill. This house, this area in West 9th Street was known as Capitol Hill, and this is where the very wealthy families built their homes. This house was built by August Meyer. August was born in 1851 to German parents in St. Louis, Missouri, and he took his education in Eastern Europe, learning the mining and smelting operations there, bringing that knowledge here to Leadville just about the time of the silver boom. He and Edwin Harrison opened the Harrison Reduction Works, the first smelting operation here, and August is one of the founding fathers of Leadville. And this china patterned Glen Moss was a favorite of Nellie Healy. I'll tell you about Nellie upstairs. We have bone plates, butter plates, and one of the ways we show off wealth to dinner guests is to offer them a golden toothpick. Beautiful silver condiment holder here. Beautiful crystalware, decanters, coffee service. After dinner, the ladies retired to the parlor and the gentlemen came into this room. This was their smoking lounge. They closed these expansive doors, opened the windows, and they donned a smoking cap and jacket. Not just to keep the chill away, but they were aware of the smell of smoke on their hair and clothes. The young girl lived here, Nancy Carpenter, the 6-year-old daughter of William and Bessie Carpenter. Nancy would not have had her own room. She would have shared one with her parents, but if she had, it would have looked something like this. This room we have decorated as a parent's room, another example of a coal stove here. And the item with the wooden handle on top of that stove is called a collar fluter. So again, we're not doing laundry very often, but ladies would have been able to take the collars and the cuffs off of their shirts and dresses. To Ellen's brother, Daniel Healy. He was a respected statesman here in Lake County. He continued operating this as a boarding house. And one of his first tenants was his cousin, Nellie Healy. Nellie was educated in a convent in Canada after her mother passed away.
This is the 3rd floor in this room. No bed in here. Oh, that's the bed right there.
Yes. English press bed.
Oh, there's the handle, the pull down the Murphy bed.
To one of the fun events in Leadville's past, and that was the Ice Palace. There's a picture of it there and an up-close picture of it there. Late winter, early spring, 1895, 1896. The folks of Leadville are like, how can we get people to come here? Oh, well, it's winter a lot. Let's have an ice palace created. It encompassed 5 acres over what is now West 7th and 8th Street. A phonograph, quite affordable. Most families would own one if they could. It played a wax cylinder that held one song. It could be played about 20 times. And then they could take it to the studio where the gentleman would melt it down and have a new song added. Victorians recreation, a penny farthing. Quite the adventure. It took a running, jumping start or a good push from a friend to get started. It became a boarding house. It was converted into a bathroom, primarily for women and children. Men would continue to use an outhouse. The ladies have a gravity-fed toilet.
She said when this was a boarding house, as many as 22 people were living here at the same time, and most of them were school teachers because there was a school right across the street. Nice. Next is the National Mining Hall of Fame and Museum. Here's a long display room, and here we have some brightly colored rocks. It's azurite, green and blue malachite, and this is another malachite. And this one is really interesting. Looks like crystal. They have quite a few smaller samples. I'm just going to quickly go down the line of one of the rows. Here's some larger ones down here. Ooh, this gold one really sparkles. Got several rows in this glass display case. Kind of hard to see with the reflections. Well, this one looks like it's solid gold. And this one, wow, look at that. All those kind of squared off pieces. Here's some amethyst. And some more green ones. And I wonder what this is. The 23 Willis St. Clair. Wow. It looks like brand new condition. Let's look inside here. Huge diameter wheels on that thing. This shows how a mine is laid out. See this guy working there? And here they're excavating. They have a lot of mining equipment on display as well. Here's a castle made out of real little pieces. Here's a shovel from the 1930s. Here's a really big sample of amethyst and a quartz geode. Let's look inside. Here's a model railroad around a mine. In the middle of the room. Wish they had the trains going. There's a lot of reading here if you have time. And here's an old scale that they weighed by balance. Gold pieces. And here's some various size balance scales. A really big one here. Another really big one. All sorts of balance scales. And a small one for little gold pieces. Here's a bird's eye view of Leadville in 1882. It says population 16,000. Look at all these homes. And now it's just about 2,700. Have you ever heard of kernite? I haven't. It's very brightly sparkly. This says it's from Death Valley, related to the borax they have there. And here's some rocks that glow in the dark. Wow, the green and bright red. Wow. Well, folks, there is a whole lot more here to see than what I showed you. I went through everything kind of quickly because I've got several more museums to see. So you could spend quite a bit of time going through everything here. Now this museum I'm not going to go into, but you might be interested. It is the Sacred Spirit, Divine Spirit over Matter Cosmetology Museum. How about that? Got several divine and sacred spirit things here out on the lawn in a kayak. Looks like somebody's house. Leadville's downtown has some very interesting stores, and they also have the best Wild West saloon in America. How about that? My next museum is the Leadville Heritage Museum. Here are the hours, and over here it shows some of the things that they have on display inside. And then off to the right here they have some big equipment and a couple cabins. So let's go in and take a look. Well, this room looks like a combination kitchen, bedroom, dining room, an entertainment room with a piano and an organ. And a sewing room as well. Here's some more miners. And this guy, oh, he's found him a big one. He's got several of these behind glass. This one's showing how they dig out the mine. And this one's got a bucket that goes up with guys mining over here. Looks like we got a story going on here. So the mining here was first for gold, and then silver, and then lead. And over here, cash registers, old typewriters, a couple of saddles, an old manual washing machine for clothes. I guess they used to have a J.C. Penney's. A lot of displays in here's an old washing machine. And you gotta have an assay office. They got a bunch of those real small drug bottles that they used to come in. Really old soda pop bottles. And this ice palace was built only once. It turned out it was not really successful like they thought it would be. So they never rebuilt it. But I bet it was really something to see. This shows what's inside. Here's a couple sleds with furs. This is a heavy fur coat. A couple of different unions here. And this is a very elaborate wooden clock. This must be the original post office with those boxes, mail drop right there. Twin Lakes is really, really small town just a little ways south from here. I looked it up on the map, and the Twin Lakes are not twin at all. They're very different. One is about 3 times bigger than the other one. I guess just call it twin because there's 2 of them. Well, this is an interesting museum of the history of Leadville. They also have some big pieces outdoor here at the History Museum. That looks like some kind of a crusher. Couple of cabins. Well, this one has held up pretty well over the years. They got a big steam engine hoist. And this is a really big piece of equipment. Let's see what it says there. This cabin, fairly good size, says Violet over the door. Here's a steam boiler, as it says here. And they got 3 old carts. Well, this is all pretty interesting. Now on to my next museum. Next is the Tabor House Museum. It's actually a pretty small home. I'm going to go inside and take a look at all the rooms. That's the broad side of it, and then there's a separate home here.
Of course, this is the living room. This was kind of the ideal room.
Nice old furniture, still in good shape.
It is.
And it's still on time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
And it's really nice whenever you can just hear it ding.
And it has an upstairs. Should I go upstairs?
If you want to.
Here's the upstairs bedroom. Big closet there. A lot of things on the top there.
Mm-hmm. Do you think just to kind of help him out a little bit? And so
Sewing room.
This is her sewing room. She taught herself how to sew and get things.
Is this the original furniture?
The stuff with the T on it is.
Old rocking chair. And it sounds like this is going to be an unusual museum. And there is the eye. Now let's go inside. This looks like an old style home. There's a baby stroller. And here we've got a piano, organ, and an old Silvertone phonograph. I don't know what that is. Got a dining table set for 2. Somebody's bedroom. Several irons. And this would be the kitchen. An old iron stove. And here's something you don't usually see in somebody's house. It's a hearse with a casket in it. A horse-drawn hearse. And got some buggies back here. And this is not really a hearse. This says what it is. This is for ironing tablecloths and sheets. All kinds of interesting things he's got here. Big collection of bottles. And a wide typewriter. It's a small place, but very interesting. It's got a very nice collection of all sorts of things. Bet you've never seen a card game like this. Or this. Very interesting collection here. And this is the last museum I'm going to show you. And it's the first for me. I've never been to a Jewish museum before. This tells about the first Jewish settlement in Leadville. Here's the Star of David with this that you can hold it with your hand. And walk around with it, I guess.
Yeah, I've done a map like
You've got various displays in the glass. And the pews of the synagogue. I wonder how this one stove is going to heat up the building. I don't know. And this is the upstairs where they have this timeline history that goes from 1870 to 1924. All kinds of interesting things. And this gives me a good overall view of the building. I was wondering what those jugs were about down there. And now I see this. This explains it. It's a very nice building that they have kept in really good condition. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below. Good day.